Okay, welcome to MLM Tips. Today we're going to be talking about how to effectively market your business and your primary goal when it comes to your business. Because for a long time, I didn't understand what MLM prospecting was. And for those of you who all are out there that's like me, who are a little confused, you're going to love this video because it's a disconnect between what you're supposed to do and what you're doing. You got this big gap in the middle where you're not able to cross it because you don't really know how to get across it due to you're just being unsure. So today I want to help you close this gap because prospecting, when you say, okay, how do you supposed to prospect, or you look at what is your goal as a prospect. When you're prospecting, what is your goal? Your goal is to get the person in front of your presentation. So if this is your goal, to get them in front of your video presentation, or get them, or maybe you trying to get them out to a meeting or webinar, or however you want to get them out there, the only thing you're supposed to be doing is piquing that person's interest. Here's what I used to do. I used to go out and I used to tell everybody about my primary company. I'll ask them, have you heard of XYZ company? And when I asked them that, I would always get answers like, oh yeah, my friend did that. They didn't have any success, so I'm not interested. And it was hard getting past that point. But what I found out is you're not supposed to tell people what you do. You're not supposed to tell people, okay, yes, I'm in XYZ company. No, your only goal is to help a person. And the only way you can help a person is by finding out their needs. Like, you can't market your business to me until you know what it is I want. Because if you're not speaking to me on my level, then that means 9 times out of 10, I'm not going to be listening. And here's what I mean by that. For other people that's in other companies, like I've been in Starbucks and I've had people prospect me, and the only thing I hear is about their company, how their company is so great, how it's a ground floor opportunity, how their upline is just the best in the world. And I never stop to tell them that I'm in a primary business, because I be wanting to know how people are going to pique me. Because sometimes you have that one person that come along and pique you, like, man, if I wasn't in a company already there, I would have definitely took a look. I would have definitely took a look at the opportunity. So you want to study those kind of people, and that's why I actually listen to people who try to prospect me. So the first thing you want to remember is none of this matters until you know what motivates me. And what I mean by that is, for example, if you ask me, how is my job? What do I do for a living? And I tell you I do XYZ for a living, but I don't like doing XYZ. Then you ask me something along the lines of, what would I like to be doing? And I tell you, well, I would love to be a full-time entrepreneur, or I would love to have my own business, or I would love to be able to stay at home and work from home, or, you know, spend more time with the little ones, or whatever the case may be. No matter what's my desire, once you find out my need and you tap into that need, then you got my attention. And then even after you have my attention, your only goal is to say, well, I think I can help you, and when could we get together? And again, you're trying to get me to the presentation, meeting, webinar, or audio CD, whatever the case may be. Now, here's a note. When you're out prospecting, and I learned this the hard way, like, I would always try to get people to come out to the meeting. Because when you first get into the business, they tell you, get them to the meeting, get them to the meeting. So you just don't know what you just don't know, right? So I used to try to do that, and what would happen is I would always be the only one at the meeting, waiting on my prospects to show up. And the reason for that is, if I tell you that I work 12 hours a day, 9 times out of 10, when I get off work, I'm trying to go home, spend time with my wife, my girl, my kids, etc., whatever the case you may have. So you have to give people what's convenient for them. So in my case, a webinar would be convenient for me. Or if I'm always driving around, like my job requires me to be in a car most of my shift unless I get a call or something like that. So you need to give me some type of audio CD that I can pop into the CD player and I can listen to it to pique my interest, because the average person needs about, they say, 7 to 12 touches before they actually decide to buy something. And what do I mean by touches? Touches are simply, they need 7 to 12 exposures. So that could be an audio CD, that could be your webinar, and then you can close them out with the meetings, showing them that it's bigger than just them, or it's bigger than the few people that they know. But if you don't tap into the person's need of what they really want before you try to offer your opportunity to somebody, they're not gonna waste their time with you. And the last thing that you want to keep in mind is you're not a salesman. Although, and I agree to a certain extent with what people say when they say we're not salesmen. Like, for a long time, I didn't understand that. I'm like, we sell products, we are salesmen. But it wasn't until I actually seen a salesperson in action that I realized, no, I'm definitely not a salesman. And here's what happened with that salesperson. With the salesperson, this is what they did. They walked into the building where I was at the time, and what they did was, they have their tools, they carry their tools with them, so it's no surprise to what they're selling. So because they got their tools with them, their goal is to pitch you. So they're trained, get their pitch out about these products that they have, and before the prospect can say anything, ask price or whatever. They don't tell the price until they get the pitch out. They're not trying to get to know you or find out what it is you need or what it is you want. Their whole goal is to make their pitch and see who bite. And depending upon how many, and basically that's what they do. They walk around from store to store, and that's what they do. I had actually applied for it, but after doing the tour and being out there for a day, I didn't really care for it. Now, don't get me wrong. There are a lot of great salespeople, but salespeople are pushy. And what you want to do is you want to lead. You don't want to be pushy. And the reason why you don't want to be pushy is because when you push somebody, that wall just gets thicker and thicker, and they stop listening. And here's what happens in essence. If you convince this person to come into the business, come into your primary opportunity, what's going to happen is you're going to have to convince them to work. And I know, because I had a team that I convinced to join my company, and I had to convince them for everything. I had to convince them to work. I had to convince them to come to the meetings. I had to convince them to get on the webinars, get on the trainings, do their trainings in their back office. I had to convince them for everything. And what I realized is, in sales, you can convince a person to make a sale, because all they got to do is make that once you make that sale, you gone. There is no other transactions. Now, smart salespeople who are a little bit above walking door to door doing salesmen, what they do is they tap into your needs, and that's what you have to do. And the reason why they tap into the need is because they understand that they don't want to just have you for a customer today. They look for long-term longevity, because they understand that if they can make you happy today and going forward, then you'll be a long-term customer, and you might be responsible from anywhere from $1,000 to $12,000, depending on their ticket price. And that's how you have to view things. You're not trying to get people to sign up right here and now. Network marketing is a process. You have people like me, for example, who are analytical people, and they want to go home and do their research. In fact, I really didn't get serious about network marketing until I seen Warren Buffett back network marketing, because at first I liked the idea of it, but I just couldn't wrap my head around how I was going to walk up to people and talk to them about this. And what you want to do is, before you write someone off or become too pushy, you want to step back and tell them it's okay. Give them that room where they're able to think about it. And once they thought about it, you want to do a follow up. Now, if you get a no, that's fine. It's normal. That's why you do another follow up between 30, 60, and 90 days. Now, me personally, if they tell me no, I usually do a follow up every 60 days. And the reason why I do that is because people's lives are ever changing. So I'll do a follow up every 60 days. After I do the follow up the 60th day, then I'll do it a month later. And I got a little pattern that I use to make sure that nobody gets left out. So that's basically a few tips, but the biggest tip that I would give you is don't try to convince anyone, because like I said, I once heard a phrase that said that basically a person inconvinced of their own will is still a person of the same opinion, meaning that if you get me to say, okay, I agree with you, and I didn't come to that conclusion on my own, then I still think the same way. So whether I join your business or don't join your business, it really doesn't matter, because I still have the same opinion. Now, the fastest way to get leads or to get out there and prospect is what I say is it's three ways to do it, but the main one is, I would say, a genealogy list. And I know you looking at me crazy like, a genealogy list. The reason why I say a genealogy list is because there are plenty of people out there who are afraid to prospect. And what this genealogy list is, you can get about 500 people. And this is how I got over my fear of talking to people. So a genealogy list is where you buy it as leads. You can find some on eBay. Like I bought mine off eBay. And the purpose is not to really make sales. The purpose is to practice your script, get it down packed, and practice hearing the word no. So by the time you go through those 500 people, when you're out prospecting, and you're not going to really be out prospecting, what you're going to be doing is, when you see openings for you to share your opportunity, that's what you're going to do. You're not literally going to be out walking around prospecting. You're not going to do that. Or when you start generating leads online, or you begin to do other drop card techniques or something like that, then you're not afraid to talk to the people about your business. You done heard all the objections, so now you know how to handle them. And that's the biggest tip that you could walk away with today, because this is the biggest thing that held me back. Like, I was afraid to pick up the phone. But I promise you, after you go through 500 people calling them, not getting answers, getting cursed out, people not being interested in then making a few sales out of it, you're going to realize that it's not so bad after all. And that's the point that you really want to get to. And when the one thing that I will say that I realized is, by me having that genealogy list of 500 people, when somebody told me no, it didn't really bother me, because I'm like, I still got 499 more people to talk to. So I kind of had that abundance mentality, although most of them told me no. So I would highly recommend, if you're trying to practice prospecting, or if you're trying to practice bringing more people into your lead, into your business, buy a genealogy list. They probably cost you about 25 bucks. And the purpose is not to actually bring someone into the business. The purpose of it is to practice your craft and get over your fears. Plus, it gives you a better understanding of the type of objections you're going to get. I hope this video was helpful. This is Willie from MLM Warrior Mindset, saying till next time, success starts here. Hold on, wait a second. Don't forget to click the like or share button so I'll know you like this stuff.